morning and welcome to Darold Miller Live here on the ZNS Radio and television networks. And you can follow us wherever you go in the world at www.znsbahamas.com. Let us pray. O God, our Heavenly Father, we come humbly before your throne of grace and mercy this morning to thank you for waking us up. We come to thank you for the rain and for the sunshine and for these beautiful islands with which you have blessed us. These islands that have become the envy of the world. We pray that you would give us vision, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so that we can deal with the many challenges that confront us, and so that we can become better stewards of what you have given us. We pray that you would teach us how to live together as one in peace, in harmony, and in love. Set aside our political and our personal differences and work toward the betterment of this nation. Oh God, we pray that as we conduct this show today, you would give us wise tongues for our discussions. You would control us and direct us. And through it all, we are comforted by your word that no weapons formed against us shall prosper. And teach us, O God, how to be like your Son Jesus. And in his name, we thank you. Amen. Our very special guest today on Darold Miller Live is the leader of the DNA, the Democratic National Alliance, Mr. Branville McCartney. Mr. McCartney, welcome to Darold Miller Live.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas.
Firstly, there was a devastating fire in Abaco.
Yeah.
Over the weekend. What can you tell us about it in view of what you have been saying, that we need to deal with shanty towns?
Yeah. Well, firstly, let me, from my understanding, that there have been no loss of lives, from my understanding. So thank God for that. But quite a number of persons have lost their homes. But this isn't something new. We have seen this before. We've seen where shanty towns have, where persons living in shanty towns have lost their lives, lost their homes. And this government has failed to carry out what they said they were going to do relative to the shanty towns. I recall, I think it was the 13th of June, 2013, the Minister of Environment and Housing in the House of Assembly,
Kenred Dorset,
Mr. Dorset, said that they were going to start eradicating the shanty towns in the Bahamas.
But he did start.
He said that they were going to start prosecuting the owners of the shanty towns.
But he did start.
There must have been one or two buildings that was demolished. And there must have been only one person who was perhaps considered to be prosecuted. Mr. Miller.
You're saying he started and stopped?
Well, we still have these shanty towns. And I think the physical evidence would speak for themselves. We still have the shanty towns. I have not heard about any person being prosecuted. The only person initially was one person they said was the owner, And we have not heard anything further.
Farrington area.
That's right. That person was being represented by an F&M senator, or defended by an F&M senator. We have not heard anything further. Another minister of the Christie government indicated and said that it's going to be very difficult to deal with the shanty towns and the illegal processes in the country, because they have their protectors. Fred Mitchell said that. He said they have their protectors. And if you would recall, Mr. Perry Christie in opposition also said that it is very difficult to deal with our illegal problem, basically because of what same thing that Mr. Mitchell said. They have their protectors. Now my question is, who are these protectors that's doing such a disservice to our country? And why don't you have the political will to deal with the protectors?
You had the political will at one point.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
But it cost you dearly.
It didn't cost me. It has cost the country, because we were not allowed to continue what we were doing.
What were you doing?
We were, in a humane way, systematically dealing with the illegal immigration problem in this country. Prior to me leaving, we determined that there were, on an island, 21 by 7, 37 shanty towns. On an island, you heard I say? An island, 21 by 7. Now, I'm not sure if you were here during that period of time.
I followed you. Thank you for your emails.
Very good.
Oh, even though I was in Turks and Caicos, I followed you every step of the way.
Well, good. And we determined, we had formed a committee with the different ministries and departments, the police, the defense force, of course, immigration, social service, health, and we determined that there were 37 shanty towns, and the idea was to now go about it in a legal, systematic, and humane way of eliminating these shanty towns. But I will tell you, there is not the political will to get rid of the shanty towns.
But you had the will, and you were stifled in carrying out that will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What does that tell you? Something is amiss, Mr. Miller. Let me tell you something. I started something called Immigration Watch as well. Similar to Crime Watch in the areas that's common to illegals coming into the Bahamas, the Marshall Road area. And every year, they come about the same time. That was that was not the policy of the previous administration.
The F&M?
Yes, that was not the policy.
Well, let us put this in the correct context. Following the earthquake in Haiti, that simply devastated that country.
Absolutely.
The F&M administration then, led by the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Papa Ingham, decided that we should stop for the moment repatriating Haitians who were living here illegally and who were being held in the detention center. And I think you pick up the story from there. He let them out, eh?
I think a significant part of that event was the release of persons who were in the detention center. something that was done, I guess, solely at the command of the then Prime Minister. Those persons there were about 21 persons, I think, at the time. And the unfortunate situation was that the former Prime Minister indicated that these persons that we were going to let out within 6 months, they ought to come back and we will process them. Well, Mr. Miller, not one person came back, as you can imagine. Many of those persons who were in that detention center was not even from the area of Haiti that was devastated. And I thought it was a bad call.
And that led ultimately to your your resignation from the cabinet and from the party.
No, quite a number of things. I resigned from the cabinet first. I said we were not going in the right direction. I was right.
But that was the issue. That was the issue.
Not being able to do what you're supposed to do or what you're there for. I did not get into politics for the perks, my friend. I did not get into politics to play minister or enjoy being a minister as I was once told to do. I left my position where I was as an attorney and businessman. I left being the boss to get into an area where I knew I was going to be the employee of the people. The ultimate goal was to ensure that whatever area I'm in, that it would help to advance the country. I was not into politics, and I'm still not into politics for self-gratification or for self-interest. Far from it.
If you were in charge today, how would you deal with these shanty towns to avoid the reoccurrences of deadly fires?
Yeah, again, that's very unfortunate, like I said, and it's not only the fires, it's the living conditions. Have you ever been in one of these shanty towns?
Of course I have. I've been in the mud. I've been in the banks.
I'm talking about the living conditions, Mr. Miller. I have seen children. I have seen young children living in squalor. And these are human beings, man. Now, I'm not even talking about the illegal aspect of it. I'm talking about being human. And it is sickening. What I would do, I would continue what we started to do when I was there, to go about it the right way, issue the necessary notices. It's a legal process for those persons who are living there. Because many of the, if not all, of those homes there are erected illegally. The use of electricity is illegal. Of course, the use of land is illegal because some of that land is designated for other things, right? So the necessary notices ought to be issued to persons to be removed. It's just like if you own an apartment complex, you have tenants who are there and they're not paying, you give them notice to leave. Persons living in the shanty towns, illegal or otherwise, foreign or Bahamian, because if they are able to live in buildings that are erected illegally, that says everybody else can do it. I can't live in an illegally erected building where I didn't get the necessary permission. Can you?
They will kick me out.
Absolutely.
Or take me to jail.
Absolutely. Without hesitation. So you give the notice, and if they have failed to comply, just like the Department of Environmental Health, when they give the notice to have certain things removed, if they don't comply, then steps must be taken for them to be removed. The owners of those particular land, if it's not the government, must be prosecuted. Must be prosecuted. Must be prosecuted. And those notices must go to them immediately, first and foremost, because it's their land. They must carry out the movement of those shanty towns. That's why I put the burden on them. I would not...
Owners
absolutely,
of the land.
Absolutely.
And where there are no owners of the land, or where the government owns the land, that's easier, eh?
Well, where the government owns the land, then the government is culpable, quite frankly, and they must take steps to have the shanty towns removed. Now, it's not a perfect situation because we have human beings living there.
And we have more than Haitians.
Of course, more than Haitians, you have Bahamians, but it's not right. It's not good for our country. An island, 21/7, as I mentioned, at the time, this is back in 2010, I think it was, had 37 shanty towns.
You suppose there are more now?
I believe so, yes. I believe there's more.
And the family islands have more now.
Abaco has more. Abaco.
More than two. I know the mud in Marsh Harbor and the banks.
They don't have shanty. They have shanty cities. The mud, Pigeon P, shanty cities. You know what I say? They got everything in there. Everything. That cannot be right. And of course, the longer we allow it to continue, the more difficult it's going to be. It's just like the numbers game. This should have been legalized, regulated, and taxed years and years ago.
Wait a minute now. Are you saying numbers should have been legalized years ago?
Legalize, yes, legalize, regulate, and tax. Of course.
That's a new position you are putting forward.
No, sir. No, sir.
So you would have never been against the numbers being legalized?
No.
So the DNA supports numbers?
We support the legalization, the regulation, and taxing. We did not support what this government brought to the table. They got it wrong. You cannot regulate something until you legalize it. And they had this opinion poll about regulate and tax. They got it wrong. They were told about it. They were told the process was fundamentally wrong. So we didn't support the referendum/opinion poll. But certainly, we support the legalizing, the regulating, and taxing of the numbers.
Let me tell you what you said at the time.
Hmm?
You said, and I think I'm correct here, what a tangled... Was that you?
What a tangled
web we weave.
Absolutely. When we first tried to deceive. Absolutely.
And you said you think this quote most aptly describes the PLP administration's handling of the so-called referendum.
Mm-hmm.
I must say with great disappointment that the government of the Bahamas, with all of its experience and expertise, most qualified attorneys and many consultants, has presented to the Bahamian people nothing more than an expensive opinion pool.
And the Prime Minister subsequently agreed that it was an opinion pool. Had no legal bearing. Nothing. Nothing. No legal bearing. And I said, if you would recall, if you read down, I said, no matter what you vote, no matter what you vote or how you vote, at the end of the day, it has no legal bearing. And I also said that the government would do what they want to do because it has no legal bearing. And if you go further, I wrote several other press releases after the botched opinion poll and said the same thing.
So, what do you say now? That the opinion poll is being set aside and the government is going ahead with legalizing
the government got
and regulating and taxing.
The government got themselves in that stew. I would not have put myself in that stew.
But we are already in it.
Yeah, the government is in it. I'm not taking on the foolishness the government did.
So what would you do? Don't you need the red shops money?
I would not have gone about it that way. You see, the government. Listen. Let me answer your question. The government has put themselves in a position where the people now voted, right? Now I said it has no legal bearing. That's my position. I'm speaking from a lawyer's point of view. But now they turn around and say, well, we ain't gonna listen to what they said. Now read my. I don't know if it's in that press release. But
I'm sure it is.
Read what I said. What I said is coming to fruition.
You said you suggest that the government do the right thing and postpone the referendum, this non-binding referendum, and revisit the legalities surrounding the situation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you say, if you get it right, no matter what the outcome of the referendum, the Bahamian people would be able to look back and say, well done.
Absolutely. They did not get it right. And the Bahamian people and the world is looking and saying, what a shame. What a disgrace. This qualified so-called political party got it wrong. And now they have themselves in a tangled web. Tangled web. Tangled web. They don't know what to do. And any which thing they do at the end of the day, Mr. Miller, look here, it's going to be a backlash.
When you resign, and we're going to go to our break in a minute, but I want you to respond to this one quickly. Be beyond both now. We are beyond many things now.
Yeah.
When you resigned from the FNM, you said, and I'm quoting you, in an attempt to get our country back on track, it is time for a revisiting of Linden's vision for the Bahamas. Are you a philosophical supporter of the PLP?
You know, when I spoke about Sir Lyndon's vision, we were talking about economic empowerment of the Bahamian people. We have the political power as Bahamians, but we don't have the economic empowerment. And that is what we and the DNA is all about. The Bahamian person, you being our greatest resource, investing in you, building you, so that you and the Bahamian people can build the country.
Let me ask this another way. Are you closer to the PLP or to the FNM?
I was in FNM, and the FNM had the mindset of economic empowerment.
Today, are you closer to the PLP or to the FNM?
None right now. I'm sorry. They've all gone away. The FNM today is not the FNM of old. The FNM today is not the FNM I joined. I'm sorry, sir.
What about the PLP?
PLP.
Because you were born in the bosom of the PLP.
No, the PLP, at the end of the day, unfortunately, is a party that reeks mishandling of the country, that reeks cronyism, that reeks lack of transparency and accountability. I can't be associated with that.
Okay, we got to take...
And that enhances self-interest in their own party. I can't be part of that, and I can't subscribe to any type. I don't know what their philosophy is now. I don't know.
We're going to take our first break. When we come back, I want you to tell me, what did you do to get Rupert Roberts to join you? This is Darold Miller Live. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to Darold Miller Live here on the ZNS Radio and television networks. I want to adjust this,
Mike, I'm sorry.
So that we see your face clearly.
Okay.
And not be hidden by the microphone. But you got a little upset with me. I'm not sure if it was you or someone else in the party, the DNA, when I said you were not a major political party. Are you still upset with that characterization? And that characterization was made because you do not have a seat in Parliament. What determines what is a major political party?
I think the fact that we formed a party 11 months before the last election. We contested 38 seats, every seat. We went head to head with the FNM and the PLP, with everything.
But you won nothing.
From the rallies. No. It's not that we won nothing. Unfortunately, the Bahamian people lost, as we see today. They chose a government that's incompetent and that is in disarray. They were not ready for day one. They made promises upon promises and couldn't fulfill them. Crime and the fear of crime still being out of control, illegal immigration, unemployment galore. They said they had answers to mortgage relief. Lies. So we didn't lose. The Bahamas lost, my friend. The Bahamas lost. We gave an option. We gave the Bahamian people an opportunity, which we will do again. But we didn't lose. The losers here is our country as it stands.
Rupert Roberts is a member of the DNA officially now. What did you do to get him?
Well, sir, you just allow me an opportunity to extend my condolences on behalf of my wife and also on behalf of the party on the death of his son-in-law, who I understand passed away last night, if I'm not mistaken, or yesterday. So we extend condolences to Mr. Roberts and his family. Several months ago, just like how you read that press release, and if you go back to see some of the rallies that we had and things that were said several months ago, I said that the DNA has grown tremendously since the election in terms of its membership, card-carrying members, as well as the support base. And I said, eventually we will start to bring certain people out to the public to show the type of support that we're getting. Well, when I said that, Mr. Roberts was already on board, among other people.
Oh, so he joined a long time ago.
When I said that, he was on board. Now, as he mentioned in the interview, sir, on Friday, the press conference, he supported the PLP in the last election, I would imagine. That's words coming from him. But he was, this is not a new occurrence. And as I said, there were quite, and there has been, and people continue to join the party. And as I said months ago, we would start bringing persons out. Well, Mr. Roberts was one of them that came out. And in the coming months, you will see more persons who will come out publicly in support of the DNA.
White Bahamians?
White, black, rich, poor. And mulatto. We got mulatto Bahamians too, you know.
County Joe.
And County Joe. And County Joe.
That's important,
absolutely. Yes, sir.
Isn't it? To show the diversity.
Absolutely. And you would see there will be persons noted, whether they are taxi cab drivers, whether they are in different professions, and whether they are in different businesses across the spectrum. And you know what is happening? People are just sick and tired of being sick and tired of the PLP and Referendum. As Mr. Roberts said, you know, we've had 50 years of the PLP government. 50 years of the PLP government. Because there's very little difference between the PLP and the Referendum.
I'm not sure it's 50. I'm not sure it's 50.
Since the PLP has been in power, since they initially came to power.
67?
67, from 67, yeah. So the bottom line is this. I think people they've seen the best of the PLP. And if you want to call it the F&M, they've seen the best of the F&M. Yet we are still in the state we are in today. Third world country. We are crime-ridden. We have not diversified our economy. People are losing jobs. I can go on and on and on, and we have not seen the best of the Bahamian people and the Bahamas, but we've seen the best of the PLP, and we've seen the best of the F&M.
Let me ask you to share your vision for this country, particularly with respect to economic diversification.
Yeah.
What is that vision?
Well, I would go back. I believe that the Bahamian is the greatest resource we have. So let's make that resource into industries. But before we get there, let's make sure that we are able to develop that resource, the Bahamian. This model isn't new, you know. This model has worked before. Singapore, for example. Let's invest in our people. Let's build our people. Let's educate our people so that they can build this country. For the past, since our independence, we've had basically the banking industry and the tourist industry. When in fact, we ought to have been in a position now where we've had a number of other industries, including agriculture, marine biology, information technology. But it seems as if our leaders, past and present, are stuck on being stuck in the past. Tourism worked for us, and I'm not saying get rid of it. I would say advance it and enhance it. Banking worked for a time, and I would want to advance that as well. I'm not saying get rid of those things. But just like any business, you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
So give me another basket.
Agriculture.
So
I'll give you an example. Let's see where we spent $1 million on lime trees. $1 million on lime trees recently because of the lack of limes in the country.
Well, that's not quite correct. We have lime trees in the country.
I said we spent $1 million on lime trees.
Right.
That is correct.
That is correct. But
I said
the fact that there are no lime trees in the country.
No. I said we have a shortage of lime.
I'm not sure that's correct. I know Gary McDonald got plenty lime trees in Andros.
Well, the point I want to make, I mean, lime is expensive here. There's been a shortage, I think, because of the persons and the cartels in Mexico. That has caused a shortage of limes, okay? But I'm using this as an example. Today, it's a shortage of limes. Tomorrow, it's going to be a shortage of what? Apples? Grapefruits? Oranges? We need to build industry in agriculture.
So, why don't you give this administration credit, then, for launching the agricultural school in Andros? They must be doing something right, eh?
You know, I said publicly it's a good initiative, but it has not come to fruition yet. This government launched Urban Renewal 2.0. That ain't helped our crime position.
That's never what?
Helped our crime position today. This government launched Operation Safe Bahamas. That ain't help our crime position. This government launched a mortgage relief program. I guess only the Prime Minister friends need to apply for that one. Now, you could launch all you want. I want to see it come to fruition, and this government ain't good at executing.
You don't think the agricultural school is coming
I don't see. I would love to see that. I would love to see it happen. But this government can't. This government has already proven they can't follow through. They can't have a referendum. I have no faith in this government.
It has come to my attention that you and Perry Christie often talk.
I had the honor to be in the Prime Minister's presence recently. I mean, it wasn't a meeting as such, but it was out to a particular restaurant.
And you exchanged very cordial words.
Of course.
And ideas.
Some, yes. And we shoot the breeze as well. But yes, of course.
And you're not going to give his administration credit for this thrust into economic diversification?
I would love to see this government do well. I've said it over repeatedly. I would love to see Mr. Christie leave a good legacy. I like the man. I would like to see. He has an opportunity to leave a good legacy. He could see what the former prime ministers did. He could learn from him, learn the good and learn the bad, and make sure that when he retires, he is looked upon in this country with respect. I can walk the streets of this country and hold his head up high.
What grade you give the PLP as they prepare to celebrate 2 years in office?
Last year I gave them D. D? Last year, the D for disaster.
So have they improved?
No.
Have they done worse?
They continue to do worse. They continue to be blatant in their really, I call it arrogance in governance. Correct me if I'm wrong. You had a minister on this show the other day, and you asked whether or not he can indicate, can verify or tell us the reasons for traveling, and whether or not...
He said he doesn't have to justify it.
Arrogance. He works for us. He needs to justify it.
Well, what was embodied in that was, my portfolio is foreign affairs. Foreign means away from the Bahamas.
Not necessarily. Foreign affairs, not necessarily, sir. For the minister to say, in other words, he says, look here, just like he went on some other talk shows and said, I ain't taking no calls. He told you Thursday or Friday, 1 week,
Thursday.
last week.
Thursday.
He ain't telling the Bahamian people why he traveling. If you travel, we're not saying you don't travel.
No, he didn't say he's not telling.
He said he
doesn't have to justify it because the ministry is foreign affairs, and that is what a foreign affairs minister does.
Lack of accountability, my friend. Any government, any good government, they must be transparent, and must be accountable to the people.
I will come back to the grade, man. You give them a D last year. What'd you give them this year?
I said at a press conference last week, Wednesday, the letter in the alphabet doesn't go past Z. I can't find a letter to give them.
You can't find a grade to give the PLP?
It's certainly worse than a D. The PLP is failing. That's an F. They get an F for failure at this stage. Failure. Failure. They are a failing government.
Okay. Let's talk about VAT quickly, and then we're going to open up.
That's another example of how this government just wasting time, don't know what they're doing, talking out their head, and talking fool all day. That's same VAT situation. They promise everything, Mr. Miller, to give the Bahamian people jobs, safety, build the economy, during the campaign. They never said that they were going to put VAT on the backs of people.
Because they met it in train from your administration.
No,
your previous colleagues.
That wasn't, my previous colleagues may have had discussions on that, but it was not the law. It was.
What do you mean may have? Did you have? You were in the cabinet.
Man, listen.
Did you have discussions on VAT?
No, sir. Not when I was there. You didn't listen. You read my press releases. You read my interviews. I said I would have screamed out loud against it.
If it was introduced.
If I were in cabinet, if it happened, if I were in cabinet and it was introduced, I would scream out loud against it.
Doesn't mean you didn't have a discussion on it.
I didn't have any. I wasn't there when they discussed that. I don't know about that.
So you had left?
Yeah, I would have left cabinet. I left cabinet in 2010, eh?
2010,
yeah.
Yes.
So 2 more years ago. So I didn't know anything about that. But this government came to power. I was adamant about introducing more taxes on the backs of Bahamian people. More tax, adamant.
About introducing more?
Introducing VAT in July 2014. This government. No other government.
I don't know if the government was adamant about it.
Oh, my Lord. The government, Mr. Miller, the government was adamant.
The government was adamant about tax reform.
They said VAT will be introduced on the 1st of July. Come on now. You're a smart man. You know this.
Well, the advice given was, A, the level you're thinking about is too high, and B, since there was no public education, the time frame was too short. And the government has acquiesced to that.
And let me just add something else to that. It was suggested that we have a Freedom of Information Act before any type of VAT comes into play. Now, what this government has shown the Bahamas and the world that they talk about things but don't know what they're talking about. You had different ministers talking about VAT. We didn't even know what was going to be introduced, what was going to be introduced, how it was going to be introduced, and they couldn't tell us. They hired the foreign consultants to come over here from New Zealand. Bear in mind, New Zealand is probably the only place in the world where VAT is working properly. But they have a whole different setup from us. You and I had a discussion on VAT a couple of years ago, you know.
Yes.
And we are not set up for VAT.
Because we are not a producing country.
You said it very well before.
Let's take a break to recognize our many sponsors. Our show today featuring the leader of the DNA, Branville McCartney, is being brought to you by BTC, Tire Flex Star Motors, Dr. John C. North Spine Center of Miami, Family Guardian, 40 Days of Prayer and Fasting by Pastor Jeremiah Duncombe, Window World, Junkanoo Beach Resort, Epic Battery, the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, IRCA, JunkanooCard.com, the Frank Hanna Cleaning Company, and the Frank Hanna Red Bays Snapper Tournament, the Crab House and Seafood Emporium, Sky Bahamas, now going to Fort Lauderdale through Bimini, and by the Pineville Motel. This is Darold Miller Live. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to Darold Miller Live here on the ZNS Radio and the television networks. We're going to open up the lines for the leader of the DNA, Branville McCartney. 3255403. 325-5404. 325-5405. Those are the numbers for you to call here on Darold Miller Live if you're in New Providence. If you're calling from the family of islands from outside the Bahamas, it's toll-free 1-242-300-8255. That's 1-242-300-8255. You can send your texts to 447-9879. 447-9879. And you can send your emails to tci.daroldmiller@gmail.com. That's tci.daroldmiller@gmail.com. Here's an email. Bravo to Bran. Talking a lot of sense. I will not phone in at this time, Mr. Miller. Please let him know, though, that I miss Wednesday evenings. And most especially, I miss Kurt. Wishing him all success in his political aspirations. I believe that we need his sense to help with jobs, diversification, crime, just to name but a few. Oh, and agriculture, I think it is imperative too, under the diversification banner. Love you, Bran, and your family, and hope to see you sooner rather than later. And if he has time, ask him to call me, please. This is Monday.
Monday. Yeah. It's good to hear from you, Monday. Thank you. Thank you very much. I miss those Wednesday evenings, too.
That used to be, what, camaraderie evenings?
Well, Wednesday, my family, we go to lunch every Wednesday when we're here. Afterwards, the two black sheep of the family, me and my brother, we used to...
Your late brother?
My late brother, yeah. We used to go all about, you know.
Have you gotten over his...
No.
Murder?
No, not at all. I think about my brother every day. I was in the kitchen cooking yesterday, and I picked up the phone to call him.
Wow.
Because we spoke 5-6 times a day. As a matter of fact, you know, you and I were together the day he died.
Yes.
And I was going to call him because I was...
And we went to lunch at Divine Cafe, and he had called you at least 3 times during lunch.
That's right.
Or you had called him.
That's right. And that was the last time. That was the last time I heard from him. We were supposed to get together. I had a meeting that night. And but yes, I haven't gotten over that. I miss him. He was a good person. I see it even more by spending a little more time in the pharmacy, Wilmax Pharmacy on Ponciana Drive, and I see the number of people that come in there, and the number of people he really used to help. That's a very difficult one.
Let us go to Neville, line 4 in Nassau. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Miller. Greeting to you in the precious name of soon-coming King. I hail from the beautiful island of Andros, the settlement of South Mastic Point.
Oh!
I would like to give my illustrious brother, Brother McCartney, and I do know the supreme being who reigns above. I am guaranteed that he would win this next election.
That he would what?
He would win this next election handful down.
He would win the next election?
Definitely.
Boy, that's a tall order.
Because if the supreme being who watches over me and wake me up every morning to come here on my job where I'm posted here at the poop deck east A Street, he's the same God will see my brother too. So, my brother, keep on the good fight.
Thank you.
Many people are praying for you.
Thank you for your... Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's a tall order to win the next election. In your first election, you got 0 seats. And then 5 years later, you're going to get over 19 seats?
First election, we were formed 11 months before the election. We got almost 10% of the vote, and we made political history.
Okay. So you're going to go from 10% to 51%? That's a tall order.
You see, my thinking is slightly different from you, Mr. Miller. I go after what I think is right, whether it's a tall order or otherwise. It was a tall order for me to become a lawyer. Person said I couldn't be a lawyer.
But you were brilliant.
No, I was average. I became a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for 24 years. I'm involved in several businesses, and person said that could not have happened. But the real picture is this, and this is the difficulty we have, and especially if young children are listening. I don't tell my children, you can't get an A, that's a tall order. I tell them, if that's what you want, you think that is right.
I'm not saying you can't accomplish it.
Yeah.
I'm saying you will have to.
Of course.
It's a tall order, meaning you have to work hard
you have to work.
to get it.
Of course. We started working already for this next election. Of course, it's a tall order. It's not going to be easy. We still have persons who were born a PLP and could die a PLP, born an FNM, die an FNM. You know how sad that sounds? Quite frankly, it sounds ignorant.
Well, all I say is
that sounds ignorant. I was talking to someone on Facebook the other day, and they were saying, well, you and FNM, you should hang it out and all that stuff. I said, listen, man, I sat around the table. Now, I don't know about you or anybody else, but I'm not going to follow something that's going to take me down the wrong path.
Let's go to Evans in Eleuthera, line 1. Are you there, Evans? Let's go to Miller in Nassau, line 5.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Mr. Darold Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Banner McCartney.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Very good.
In 2002, you were given a state seat in Bamboo Town after Mr. Wells and Mr. Ingham fell out.
You're wrong, sir.
No.
You're wrong,
You're right with
You're
that.
wrong.
Okay. You were given Bamboo Town.
No, sir. How do you mean I was given Bamboo Town?
And that's the seat you represent in the House, right?
Listen, you said I was given Bamboo Town. What do you mean I was given Bamboo Town?
By Mr. Ingram.
No, sir.
Not 2002.
When you said I was given, what do you mean given?
And the party nominated you.
Yes, to run in Bamboo Town. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hold on one minute. Was it 2002?
2007.
2007 is when...
You remember, Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
That was also a tall order.
Yeah, that was a tall order.
A juggernaut?
But caller, we got to be correct with history.
Okay.
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Granville McCartney did not enter politics until 2007.
Right, okay, my mistake.
Okay.
Which the seat that was held by the one and only Tennyson Wells. No one could have beat Tennyson Wells in Bamboo Town.
However, Tennyson Wells was not running for the FNM.
No, they fell out.
So he was an independent.
Right. He beat Tennyson Wells. And so, sir, in 2012, you couldn't maintain Bamboo Town. Why?
Because he left the FNM.
No, but yes, I'm saying if he was so popular,
all right,
Bamboo Town and such a good MC,
all right, watch this now. Tennyson Wells won as an FNM.
Yes.
When he went independent, he lost.
Yeah.
Granville McCartney won as an FNM.
Right.
When he left the FNM, he lost. Same story.
Where do we go next to win the government as party leader? That's my question.
Good question there.
And why what went down between him and the Foreign Affairs Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister caused him to get fired from the F&M.
No, wait a minute now. Hold on, man. You're muddying this water.
I'm muddying the water, Darold.
Yes, but first of all, you don't know your facts. That's the first thing.
All right.
And please, hold on. Put him on hold. How do you put him on hold?
Put him on hold.
Yeah.
Put him on hold.
You were not fired, were you?
Let me make something absolutely clear. And I hear this over and repeatedly, and it's not true. I was the junior Minister of Immigration. Mr. Brent Simonet was the senior minister. We got along well, from my point of view. I respected Mr. Simonet, and I still do. We got along well. I don't know about any type of argument he and I ever had.
The question is, were you fired or did you resign?
I resigned.
Yes.
How many times we got to go through that?
Yeah.
What is the caller's point? What is the caller's point? I don't think he has a point.
I don't think so, and he is muddying the water with misinformation.
Yeah, man. You know, that's the kind of people that causes us to have bad government. People like that. Okay, because they really don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're talking about, and they don't have a clue as to what is good for the country.
Let's go to line 1. You're on Darold Miller Live. Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead.
This is Daniel Evans, Roxanne Eleuthera.
How are you, sir?
And how are you doing today?
Not too bad, sir. Yourself?
All right. So, good day to you and to your guests. I would like to just make a few comments, and I'm going to try to be as very quick as I possibly could. Our beloved friend, Mr. McCartney, made a statement the government promised. Now, this is a familiar statement, and it's a statement made often. But you see, governments make promises that are hard to keep. They make promises that they can keep, and they make promises that they don't intend to keep.
What's the question?
Well, the question is concerning the shanty towns.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, on the shanty towns on Abbey Cove, they came into existence because of a farm that a member of the House of Assembly at that time was operating, a large farm.
It didn't come about because of any one person.
Beg your pardon?
It didn't come about because of any one person.
No, I agree. It came about for several people that had.
Right. So what is the question?
That they needed some place for them to stay. Now, concerning the shanty towns, you know, it's just like a tree. It can bend when it's young, when it's small. But when it's grown, you can't. It's like a child. You had to bend it while it's young. So these things are gone so far, it's very difficult for them to really do anything about them. And if they could, if they changed or closed down the shanty towns, where are they going to put the people? Where do they have to put the people? Now I'll go.
But these people are working, eh?
Beg your pardon?
These people are working.
They're working, but they have no. You just really going to stay.
If you're working, you got to pay. You got to pay to stay.
Most of the people in the shanty, there ain't no room for them, ain't no housing for them, and most of the people in the shanty town wages are very low. You heard how...
Let's hear Mr. McCartney on that.
The is they're very poor people. They're not able to really rent. So that's why they build these small houses on these shanty towns.
All right, Evans, let's hear Mr. McCartney on that.
It's a bit sad what Mr. Evans just said. He sounds like he is a man who has some years behind him. And he indicated that because it has gone so far, it may be too late to do anything about it.
You don't agree with that?
No, sir. If we take that posture, we will die as a country. You could say the same thing about crime. Crime has gone too far and there's nothing we do about it. I don't agree with that, Mr. Evans, please.
And the people who live in shanty towns, they are employed. In fact, the employment level in the shanty towns higher. There's more people working in shanty towns than who out of the shanty towns. Wouldn't you say?
I think they are very much employed.
Yes.
Many times I've gone into the shanty towns and it was empty. People were out at work.
Yes.
It was only the children there. You know, but the point is, we need to do something about it. To take that attitude, and also to say that government make promises and so on and so forth. I got the impression that he says government make promises and is expected that they don't live up to it. Well, again, that's why we will stay in the state we're in. You need governments to work for you. I understand you cannot do everything, but certainly you need to do what is good for the country to move this country forward.
Let's go to Berenice. Line 6. Hi, Berenice.
Hi, morning, Mr. Miller, and morning, Mr. McCartney.
Good morning.
Mr. McCartney, you said that the F&M is finished?
No, I said the F&M is not the same F&M I joined many years ago.
Okay. Mr. McCartney.
Would you agree with that?
No.
No?
No. I was there from
Funny.
1982.
Mm-hmm.
But
you think it's the same body?
We have some hindrances.
Yes, you do.
And deception within the fringe, I would say, groupings, like the Dissident 8 and the BDP. They are not together. They resurrected that cursed slogan.
The Dissident 8?
Pardon?
The Dissident 8?
Of the Dissident 8. That's who was causing most of this chaos, and probably caused Mr. McCartney to leave the
F&M. Wait, Berenice, you was coming with some stuff. You was coming with some stuff now.
Yes, that's what...
Hold on. Let's go down to Dissident 8. You was coming with some stuff.
Yes, sir.
The Dissident 8.
2 of them.
Hold on, man. Let's list the 8 first. Maurice Moore.
Not him.
Don't answer.
I can tell you.
I just want us to agree on the 8. Maurice Moore. Cecil Wallace Whitfield.
He's a good man. God rest his soul.
Arthur Folks.
Arthur Folks.
Number 1. He's part of it.
Garnet Lavarity?
No. Save your time. Dr. Albert Donaldson. I'll save you time because I speak direct and I fear no man. Only God. Dr. Albert Donaldson. And then you have there's another friction with the Dr.
You have James Shepard.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Pettipuch.
No. Ain't no Dissident 8.
No, they're not
Hold on. Be dealing with the Dissident 8 first.
Oh, no, I don't tell you.
There's a good exercise. Let's get the 8 first.
Oh, okay, you go.
Maurice Moore, Cecil Wallace Whitfield, Arthur Folks, Garnet Lavarity, Elwood Donaldson, James Shepard, 2, 4, 6. I need 2 more.
Jeffrey Thompson, I know.
Jeffrey Thompson.
And who else missing in that? Anyhow, the 2 I am talking about.
One more.
Is the sitting Governor General and Dr. Albert Donaldson. Now, I move from that. The BDP was Mr. Henry Boswick, Honorable Henry Boswick. You know, there are some splitters because he was never acknowledged as leader. And that is
what's your question, Berenice?
No, my question now is the application, the solution applications for problems now. See, the F&M, if and when ready, they can get it together because this is, I keep telling you, this is a spiritual victory in Jesus. We have to get our nation together. The foundation has been rocked because of deception. We must reconstruct this nation's foundation, get it back together, because most likely those who are splintered in the F&M are mostly, in my belief, under extreme coercion from the AWRs. That's the anti-women rule group. That was the British group. Some of their lineage are still here, imposing upon those individuals because they were Middle Templars.
Okay.
This thing goes deep. And
all right.
Listen, Mr. McCarthy.
You lose me, man.
No, don't worry. You can be all right, Mr. Miller. We put this to Mr. McCarthy because he can join the F&M again. Listen here.
Hold on. I wanna get history correct. I want to be on the correct side of history. The dissident 8 were Cecil Wallace Whitfield, Arthur Folks, Warren Lavarity, not Garnett, Maurice Moore, Curtis Macmillan.
Right, that's the one I forgot, yeah.
And George Thompson.
Jeffrey Thompson, eh?
Not George, yeah.
Jeffrey.
Mr. Jeffrey
or
Thompson.
George?
Yeah, that's my cousin.
Jeffrey Thompson.
No,
Jeffrey, no.
Anyhow, Mr. McCartney.
Yes, ma'am.
See, we have to authenticate independence, okay? That has had a ceremony, and therefore, the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram, who was next to Sir Lyndon Pinling, must return to adopt the resolution. So that's no ifs, ands, or buts. The point, in fact, is you are afraid, and I, as a leader, that in itself, because of what happened to you, I understand that, right? But that sends a signal that something is not right for those who are backing you. Even
Okay,
Mr.
thank
Roberts,
you for your call, Bernice. Thank you for your call. You don't want to comment on anything.
Yeah, I don't know what to comment on.
Let me read some texts coming in. Good morning, Mr. Miller and your guest, Mr. McCartney. This is the lady you met in the food store in Eleuthera.
Oh, yes.
Hurry up and become the Prime Minister so people in the Bahamas could stop suffering, especially government employees who work tirelessly without promotion after 32 years. You are a good man. May God bless you and your family.
Thank you.
Here's another text coming in. Good morning, Mr. Miller. Please tell Mr. McCartney that he needs to have his team visible in Grand Bahama. And if he has not selected a team as yet, do so quickly. Grand Bahama is still crippled and is in need of a good economy and group entrepreneurialism. Labor seems to be the only industry functioning here. What is your plan for Grand Bahama, Mr. McCartney?
I've outlined that several times. We were in Grand Bahama about a month and a half ago. The Women's Alliance is having a meeting in Grand Bahama on the 8th of this month. We need to bring the magic back. Grand Bahama is an island that should be based on, for the most part, industry and manufacturing. The tourist sector in Grand Bahama cannot, I don't think, would be the answer. We've seen that it's not an island that tourists can, the industry can possibly flourish. But we need...
Tourism can't flourish in Grand Bahama?
Not significantly. I think Grand Bahama...
It used to. You thought about bring the magic back. The magic was El Casino. The magic was Port Lucaya. The magic was Xanadu.
That's in Freeport.
The magic was West End.
But I'm talking, for the most part, it was in Freeport. You're talking about Grand Bahamas.
Yeah, West End.
Yeah, and the thing, but it was, tourism was here too in Nassau. Look where we are today.
We're flourishing in Nassau.
Oh, where do you live, Mr.?
I mean, where I live, you ever pass Bahama Project? That's the savior of the economy. Where you live? You could see it from on top of the ridge where you live.
Yes.
What a beautiful sight.
I do hope Bahama does it, but let's not look at that as the savior.
It is the savior. The IMF says it.
You know, Mr. Miller.
8,000 jobs.
And we got 5,000. By the time Bahama comes out, another 5,000 to 6,000 people will be unemployed.
Well, that's where the economic diversification comes in.
Yes, and that's what we need. We cannot... I pray that this government, and I wish Bahama all the best. I wish they do well. But we cannot just say, boy, when Baumar come in, everything is going to be right.
No, we didn't say everything is
You said it's
right.
the savior?
It is the savior of the economy.
With 8,000 jobs? 8,000 jobs can't save this economy?
Let me tell you why it saves the economy. Because you add value and you have spin-offs.
8,000.
So now you can produce things to put in those 5,000 rooms.
Well,
Producing.
that is good.
Right.
That is good.
So now someone who does mirrors, Ali, my good friend, can produce mirrors for there. Someone who does a gentleman in Miller Hill, he does conch placings. He does a conch bowl. He does conch spoons.
That's good.
From the conch shell. He now has a market.
That's excellent.
So you add value to the tourism
That's excellent.
industry.
What we need to do, though, and what I've found very perplexing, is that we as Bahamians, we're not the owners of our economy. We're not the owners. You're talking about jobs and stuff like that. We as Bahamians would be satisfied with, yes, a little job here, a construction job there. I'm not knocking those jobs. But what we would want to see, the Bahamians become the owners of these places.
You and I.
The owners of the construction company, the owners of the hotels.
Yes.
You know, I would love, you know, that sounds good, but, you know, you have...
But all people don't aspire to be owners.
I understand that. I understand that.
Some people only want a job. In fact, they just want to get paid, some people.
I understand it, which is unfortunate.
Which is unfortunate.
Which is unfortunate, because we ought to be the owners of our economy. Which brings me to another concern that I have relative to our exchange controls. If I were to buy I saw an inn that was for sale the other day.
In Nassau?
An inn, hotel, like, yeah.
Yeah, in Nassau?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I inquired, and I said, you know, if I'm interested in that, if I'm interested as a Bahamian to purchase it, what would it take?
Money.
Absolutely. Now, I can only access money unless I have it, millions of dollars like that. I can only access money through the banks. Or you bring in partners, but money, you don't have that type of flow right now. Now, someone from outside the country can come to the Bahamas, look at that same property, use our banks, as well as access capital from around the world.
But we can't.
But sir, we cannot do that. We are limited to our financial institutions. So we are at a disadvantage economically. And we must change, and God willing, we will change those exchange control laws so that Bahamians can have opportunities, just like foreigners who come to our country have more opportunities economically than we do. Now, I'm not saying we don't welcome and we don't want foreigners here, but I'm saying we have a discriminatory law against our Bahamian people relative to the exchange control laws that causes us to be at a disadvantage economically.
Listen to this one, then we're going to go to the break. Tell Byrne he got my vote, Mr. Miller. I can't call because he know my situation. But tell him, me, him, and Cousin Petra need to get out our crab and door. you know who this is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know this.
And tell him I love him. He's my cousin.
I love you too.
This is Darold Miller Live. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to Darold Miller Live here on the ZNS Radio and television networks. Our very special guest today is the leader of the Democratic National Alliance, the DNA, Mr. Branville McCartney. We are taking your phone calls, texts, and emails. Our email address is Darold, D-A-R-O-L-D Miller, @gmail.com. Here's an email. Darold, can you please ask Mr. McCartney if there is a lot of people leaving both the PLP and FNM because they can't get contracts and government jobs? What's the real change in the DNA? I don't see the DNA winning seats come 2017. The DNA team is too weak, and I don't intend on throwing away my vote again. I voted DNA because my cousin ran.
Well, you know, the good thing about it is we can determine who we wish to vote for. But when you talk about throwing away your vote, let's look at where we are as a country. A third world country, unsafe, lack of opportunities. As a matter of fact, we got young children going off to school and saying they're not coming back. We got children off in college saying they don't want to come back because of lack of opportunities. Unemployment, the social, we are becoming a welfare state. Social services indicated that welfare is the highest it's been in modern history. And you're going to throw away your vote by, you say you're going to throw away your vote by not voting for the DNA? My friend, you vote for the PLP or the FNM, you get what you continue to get. Become third world, remain third world, and remain in the state you're in. You are a type of person who should be one out there fighting for a new way and a new government. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Let's go to Pastor Jeremiah Duncombe, line 4. Pastor, you there? Let's go to Juanita, line 5. Hi, Juanita. Let's go to Ms. Rowe, line 1. Hello. Check these people. Make sure they are holding or just release them. Miss Frey, line 6.
Good afternoon. My name is Davina Frey.
Frey?
Yes, Frey. And I was wondering...
Repeat that.
Hello?
Let's go to line 6. Miss Frey. Juanita, line 5. Okay, we'll sort the calls out. You were saying you don't give the PLP credit for anything.
Mr. Miller, maybe you could help me out on this. Maybe you can show me where they ought to have credit. I said before... I
can think of two things.
Right.
Urban renewal and the agricultural school.
Okay. Urban renewal 2.0?
Urban renewal
2.0?
Bringing a sense of renewal to inner city.
Really? That's been a success? Really? Where are all our killings happening for the most part?
Centerville, Payne and Grantstown,
the inner city, right?
Angliston.
Yeah, really?
Inner city.
Yeah, really.
But that's us killing each other.
Urban renewal 2.0 supposed to deal with that.
We got to go to our news break. This is Darold Miller Live. We'll be back right after the news break.
The views and opinions expressed on this show or program are not a reflection of the Bahamas Radio Network and, as an extension, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Welcome back to Darold Miller Live here on the ZNS Radio and the television networks. want to tell you about the Frank Hanna Red Bay Snapper Tournament. That's next weekend, Saturday, May 17th in Red Bay, Andros. The registration for entering the Snapper Tournament is $150 per person. It includes a boat captain, a boat plus gas. The boats leave at 8 a.m. from the Red Bay's dock, returning at 4 p.m. The opening ceremony is on Friday, next Friday, which is May 16th at 7 p.m. at the Red Bay's Park. All the fish caught is yours, but only the snappers will be counted. There will be a collect beer fest for all contestants after the tournament. It's free. If you want to enter, you can contact Alfonso Smith, who is the coordinator, at 357-2272, or you can call Mr. Frank Hanna at the Frank Hanna Cleaning Company on Collins Avenue, 557-4108. We are going to be there. Maybe we can do a live broadcast from the Frank Hanna Red Bay Snapper Tournament next weekend in Red Bay, Andros. And that's always exciting. I think former Commissioner Everett Hart, entrepreneur Tim Dames, Doris out of Grand Bahama, they're all going to be competing for the top prizes there. Of course, Mr. Frank Hanna will be there as well. He has won at least once, and he's looking for another win. But I think Tim Dames and others, and Doris, are going to give him a tough competition. You get to visit Andros a lot, Mr. Branville McCartney?
Not as much as I used to.
So you have not seen the agricultural school?
No, not yet.
Rising out of the ground?
Listen, I would love to see it rise. I would love...
It is rising.
I would love to see it.
There are about 400 men working today as we speak.
The only complaints I get about that, though, calls, it's not Androsians working on it, I'm told.
Yes, Androsians are working. You have to go and see for yourself.
Contracts, I'm told, they are from New Providence.
You mean contractors?
Contractors, yes.
I think...
That's what
I think more can be done to involve more Androsians.
Yes, that's the cry we're hearing regarding that. The red snapper, speaking of red snapper, you know, one of my hobbies is cooking, and yesterday I did a red snapper that was given to me by my sister-in-law and her boyfriend, and I did it Thai style. And, well, you know, a fisherman never called his own fish stink, but I must say it was really good.
Man, there ain't nothing better than the snappers.
Listen,
whether it's red tail, yellow tail, any kind of tail, snappers are great.
That was like the steak, the filet mignon of the ocean. That was, and it was huge.
And you know,
I put a hurting on that.
Yeah, and you know what is also happening in Andros is there is a marine side of the school as well. It's BAMSI, the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Sciences Institute.
Mr. Miller, I would love to see this take off. It has not taken off yet. I would love to see it. It is
taking off as we speak. It's going to open in September.
Just like that building on JFK Drive.
Which building?
Where the Attorney General's office is in now. That
y'all, the F&M did that. When you were the F&M, you built that.
No, this is my... this is my point. My point is this. That started under the PLP.
That building?
Yes, sir.
Are you certain of that?
Yes, sir. That started under the PLP 2 years before they got kicked out. The F&M came, and it can... For their turn, nothing happened. And just recently, the Attorney General's office moved.
Why did nothing happen?
Well, because, you know, they had difficulties with the contractor. They had difficulties with the building itself. My point is this, and the same principle applies with regards to the new wing of the Princess Margaret Hospital. It's a good idea. It was built, but ain't nothing happening.
That one was built by the F&M.
I don't care who's built by. My point is this. Point is this. We, the F&M and PLP, we are used to saying, look, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, it's a good idea. But putting it and making it happen is a whole different story.
The problem is, when governments change, you have this stop and review mentality. On both sides. Lesser on the PLP side.
Let me tell you, under DNA's government, if the PLP does something good, we will encourage that. We will continue to do it. We will ensure that persons who were part of it are recognized, because it's about doing what is good for this country, man. I understand that stop and review and all that, but we need to do things that's not political and do what is good for the country. We don't intend to. If we are able to find one thing that the PLP did after this term, and we, the DNA, with the government, we will continue to enhance it.
Let's go to this text. Give credit where credit is due. Mr. McCartney is hitting out at everything the government is doing. Man, are you perfect? If you ever become the government, which I don't think you will you? I can't see all of this. I'm tired of hearing all of this back and forth talk. It's getting old now. No offense, Mr. McCartney. Sometimes you are too full of yourself, sir. And the blogs say that you are a showboater. You know that.
Call me what you want.
Defend yourself.
At the end of the day, we see where our country is. That has no bearing on how our country is today and where our country need to be. You're talking about I'm a showboater or
that's what the blogs are saying.
Full of myself. Well, fine. They called Perry Christie a number of things. They called Hubert Ingram and Hubert Minnis. They called Jesus Christ all kind of names too. It doesn't matter to me. Get that straight, people. That does not matter to me. What matters to me is ensuring that we have a country that's going to move forward. Now, that person said, I'm just going to... Did that person say what I can give the government credit for?
They say give credit where credit is due.
Where is it due? Tell me, Mr. Tax Writer.
Okay.
Why don't you call Mr. Tax Writer?
During the break, I tried to come up with something else.
Isn't that a shame? Isn't that a shame?
And here's what I came up with.
After 2 years of government,
yes.
We are here. Listen, you know what? Let me say this. Okay. We got some people in the PLP who are my friends.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what else I can say. In terms of accomplishments, I don't see.
And let's pick this one apart. This administration is anchoring the individual island economies with major projects. Bimini, San Salvador.
What's happening in Bimini? What's happening in Bimini?
Haven't you
No,
been?
you tell me what's happening in Bimini that's for the benefit of the country. Because I can tell you what's going on in Bimini as well regarding our Bahamian people and how they're working and what's going on there. Now, I want to make sure we're talking about the right...
People are employed.
Sort of development you're talking about.
People are employed. Significant employment in Bimini. Although it may not necessarily impact all of the Biminites. But there is significant employment in Bimini. There is no unemployment in San Salvador, although the PLP cannot claim all of that.
Right.
Eleuthera is beginning to be anchored.
Please. I was in Eleuthera last week. My people in Eleuthera are hurting. I say
it's beginning to be anchored.
Yeah, so you can't give them credit for something that's beginning. Let's talk about what they have done. Now, you asked a specific question. What can I give them credit for? You want me to say, give them credit for something that's beginning to be? Come on. It don't work like that. You would agree. But don't work like that. I can't give you credit for something that's beginning to be.
But I have to give you credit. You are beginning to be.
You don't have to give me credit.
I give you credit for standing strong as a third party. Usually third parties fizzle out after a year or two. You're going on to year 4 now.
3.
Well, you've passed year 3.
We celebrate on 12th of, we were formed in 2011.
Right.
And we're going on the 12th of May, it'll be 3 years.
Right. So you're beginning to go into your fourth year.
Yeah, going into the 4th year.
Usually third parties of any significance fizzle after 2 years.
Well, you see, what you've done, I thank you, but that is something that has happened. We've done that. We made a stand, we came out against all odds, and we're still moving forward and getting stronger. See, that has happened. I'm trying to see what has happened under the PLP besides more unemployment, besides a continued unsafe country, besides a welfare state, besides the fact that we've not diversified our economy, that what has happened, that we still have high electricity bills, that people are still losing their homes, notwithstanding the mortgage relief plan. I don't know. I'm going on what they said they were going to do, being ready on day 1. They ain't even ready now.
Let's go to Jeremiah, line 1.
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, Darold, how you?
Excellent.
Yeah, I just called to congratulate Mr. McCartney. Mr. McCartney has the Bahamas to his heart. He is doing well. Mr. McCartney, you are doing well in the immigration part. There are a lot of illegal immigration all through the Bahamas. There are, and look like it's nothing being done. I mean, you know, we need to get rid of these people before they take over the Bahamas. Then is another part. The Privy Council, we need to abolish that and start this hanging. We have to move. Mr. McCartney, don't give up. Keep on trying. God is with you.
Thank you for your call.
Thank you very much.
Would you?
Question.
Oh, you know I wanted to go there. J. Groove want me to go there too. Would you abolish the Privy Council?
I would try everything in my power as the Prime Minister, because the government has significant power to change the laws and make the laws so that the Privy Council comply with the laws. Make them tight.
Hold on now.
Make them tight.
The Privy Council interpret the laws. What do you mean comply with the laws?
They only interpret what the laws are.
Right.
So you make your laws tight. Like the past administration tried to say, okay, murder will only apply, or the death sentence will only apply to if certain people are murdered.
The worst of the worst.
No. They didn't say the worst of the worst. That's the Privy Council. I'm talking about the laws that we tried to make. Not we, because I didn't vote for that. What the F&M tried to
the
make.
Worst of the worst.
No. They said
murder 1, if you will.
They said no. They said murder will only apply.
Capital punishment.
Capital punishment will only apply if certain people are murdered.
Right. The worst of the worst.
No.
A policeman. A judge.
No. Privy Council came back and said the worst of the worst. This isn't the worst of the worst. Okay. I would make the laws tight, so just like other Commonwealth countries that will carry it out. Make the laws tight, where the Privy Council, they have no room to get out of it. Failing that, I will get rid of the Privy Council criminal side and make our Court of Appeal our final court.
You can't just do you can't do one side, and you got to do all sides, because both sides are connected. Because criminal matters give way to civil matters.
No, sir.
Yes, they do. You're a lawyer.
You're right, and that's why I answer you like that, and I can answer you firmly. No, sir. Civil and criminal, 2 different things. Now, you could have them intermingle at times, but they are 2 different sides of the law.
You can abandon one side?
I don't see why not.
You are in favor of capital punishment, aren't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So whoever... I won't go there. That might be a little insensitive. Would you hang the murderer of Kurt McCartney?
Yes, of course. If I'll hang the murderer?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'll hang the murderer.
Would you pull the lever?
Anyone who commits murder against anybody, not only against my brother, anybody, under my government, the death penalty will be carried out. Anybody, not only my brother. What's your next question? If I'll do it?
Would you pull the lever? Would you be in the gallows room to pull the lever?
I said that I'll do it not only for persons who did it for my brother, but against other people as well. I've said that before, even before my brother's death. So I'll pull the lever. These criminals, man, look at they're menaces to society. They're looking up and really laughing at this government. That they're laughing, you hear what I say? They are laughing at
criminals are?
They are laughing at this government. The government said they had the answers to the crime problem, and these guys are running a muck in this country. It's not a safe country. We're not a safe country. An island 21/7. The other day we had 7 murders in 7 days. Toronto the other day had 10 murders, and it was an outcry. Toronto, Canada. They were up to their 10th murder, and it was an outcry.
Listen to this one. Mr. Miller, I hope you will ask for each island in the Bahamas to come up with 5 significant things that the PLP has done in their island over the last 2 years during this week. And boy, Daryl, even you wearing green today.
Mr. Miller, I'm very curious. You know, I understand that the Prime Minister is going to make or give a national statement.
On Wednesday?
On the anniversary.
Which is Wednesday.
Which is Wednesday.
In the House of Assembly.
It's in the House of Assembly.
I'm not sure. I'm asking.
I
think the House will meet on Wednesday.
Right.
And that will mark the anniversary.
Yeah. I am curious to see, and I will be listening intently. That's the day after my birthday, so I don't know.
Tomorrow's your birthday.
Tomorrow's my birthday, so I don't
well, let me be the first to say happy birthday to you publicly,
well,
sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I wish you many, many more.
Thank you, sir. I am going to listen intently to our Prime Minister to see what accomplishments they have had over the last 2 years.
I don't know where you live, Mr. McCartney. Exuma, Bimini, Abaco, portions of Grand Bahama, San Salvador, even Long Key. The F&M dilly-dallied around with Mr. Patterson. Now he has his agreement in place to invest his millions in Long Key.
Has it happened?
I mean, the agreement is done.
Has it happened?
I spoke to Mr. Patterson not too long ago. He is...
Mr. Miller, with all respect, I go back to the example of the although this was under the F&M, same principle applies. I go back to the section of the hospital that's just sitting there and is of no use to anybody at this stage. You know why? It's going to cost them $35 million to outfit it, and it's going to cost them $5+ million to staff it. Bottom line, sitting there, beautiful place, beautiful. You cannot call that an accomplishment because it has not done what it's supposed to do yet. My point is, when you talk about...
You want to see it first.
It has, you got to feel it. The country must feel it.
Not
you
see,
can talk. You can talk all you want. You know, the PLP is good at talking.
Let's go to Mr. Ramming on line 5.
Yes.
Hey.
Mr. Miller, how you doing?
Excellent. What'd you say? What'd you say, Mr. Ramming?
Yes, I have a question and a comment for Mr. McCartney.
Go ahead, we're listening.
I am wondering if I heard Mr. McCartney correct when he said that people who say that they were born a PLP or born an F&M and they're going to die the same thing, that is stupid. I wonder if he would admit that he said that.
He did say that.
No. I didn't say stupid.
Yes, you did.
I said it's ignorant.
Oh, ignorant and stupid is the same thing.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I'm sorry. Ignorant and stupid are not the same.
Why is that ignorant?
It is ignorant.
Why?
That is saying, because I was one way, I was born something, no matter what, no matter how
I will remain that
terrible, no matter what.
Yeah.
If they're taking us down, sending us over the bridge, I will remain that. That's.
I'm born a Christian, I will remain a Christian, no matter what.
Choice, right? That's a person's choice, right?
Of course it is. But
yeah,
my view, sir, it's an ignorant statement.
Okay, my comment then.
Yes?
The country here, you say that. So, you know, there are many people who fall in that category.
Yeah, fine. I understand that. That's why we are where we are today.
Where you are today?
All right. Thank you for your call.
Where we are today?
I'm not finished, Mr. Miller.
Yeah, you better hurry up. Finish.
You like where we are today?
I heard someone ask Mr. McCarthy about what he will do with Freeport. And he answered yes, what he intends to do to bring Freeport around. All he do is skate around, but he can bring the magic back in Freeport. But how he can do it? What he can do? He didn't cite one example of what he will do.
Okay.
Put the magic back in Freeport.
Okay, good question. How are you going to bring the magic back?
Go on our website.
No, tell him.
My DNA.
Tell him he ain't got no internet. He don't have the internet.
MyDNAparty.org. I could sit here all day and talk about that.
Just Freeport. How are you going to bring the magic back?
All day.
How are you going to bring the magic back?
Firstly, in Freeport or Grand Bahama?
Let's start with Freeport.
Freeport, well, the magic, we spoke about the tourists, right? I said tourists relative to Freeport only. Only. We need to start making sure.
You said...
I said overall...
Freeport is not suited for tourism.
Grand Bahama should be a manufacturing island. An island of industry.
Okay.
Also, that is what Grand Bahama was built for.
Okay.
And we need to develop and bring it there. That is what we need to do. We need to bring over development. We need to ensure that at the end of the day...
So you're going to bring in more Chinese?
No, bring in development, whether it is Chinese or other persons relative to growing industry on that
What kind of industry? Because that's what you have now. Yes, you have manufacturing, you have pharmaceuticals, you have oil refining,
Mr. Miller, it is not the way it ought to be. You have these things where, unfortunately, the Bahamians are not benefiting from it. What do you mean
Bahamians are employed there?
If Bahamians are employed in Grand Bahama, why are we talking about Grand Bahama?
No, I'm saying, in the industry, the Bahamians are employed in the industry.
Not to any great extent, sir. Not to any great extent. And that is what we need to ensure. When we build industries, manufacturing in our country, we need to make sure it's for the benefit of the Bahamian people.
Let me invite you to join us in Grand Bahama on the 29th day of May. We will be broadcasting live from Port Lucaya. Is that a show you think you can join us on? Thursday, May 29th.
I'll have to double check that.
Okay.
I'll double check the time. I would love to go to Grand Bahama. The DNA intends to be over there again very shortly. The last time we were there, we had a town meeting outlining our position on Grand Bahama. You can certainly see our position at our website, mydnaparty.org. As a matter of fact, we have a forum that was done, a town meeting that was done regarding Grand Bahama, and that's also on our website. You'll see what was said.
Someone wants to know if you would decriminalize marijuana.
That's a very good question.
Be careful now.
I know. That's a very good question. I cannot. I am not in a position to answer that at this stage, but I will tell you, and
why can't you answer?
Because from a party's point of view,
personally, will you decriminalize marijuana?
Personally, that is something we ought to look at. Mm-hmm. We ought to look at in terms of for medicinal purposes, like what they're doing or going to do in Florida, which is done in Colorado and elsewhere. But personally, I am not sure if that is the right step.
Have you, I gotta ask this, have you ever inhaled?
Never. Never. Listen, let me tell you something. I've spoken.
Be honest with me.
I've never had a
Most of us back in the day would have inhaled.
Let me tell you. I was so fearful because when I was growing up, drugs is prevalent. My father, in particular, sat me and my brother down, and he told us, he said, boy, let me tell you something. If you were to ever, and I mean ever, and I was afraid that my father would have found out. Now, mind you, I had people all around me doing food, but I never, my father said, let me tell you something. He said, I guarantee you one thing. Women are better than drugs. So my brother, in particular, took him up on that.
I see your father all the time, by the way.
So you would know.
Oh yeah, there's a humorous side of him, and then there's a stern side of him.
But going back to that question, that's something that we have to give more thought to. Also, giving thought to the fact that I noticed, there was a number of, I think it was $17 million worth of marijuana that was confiscated in Freeport. And
Freeport, you're talking about growing? They were growing.
Yeah. And I think that there were 2 busts, and it was a significant amount of money. And I know and I understand that Jamaica now is being engaged
in the same debate.
Yeah,
I think they are going to legalize it.
No, but Jamaica is contracting, from my understanding, to supply marijuana to those countries that are...
Or states.
Yes, those states that where marijuana is legal.
Right.
So that becomes an industry for Jamaica.
Yes.
That's a conversation we may...
But watch it now, not because it's good for Jamaica.
No.
Mean it's good for Bahamas.
No. What I'm saying, that may be something that we may wish to look at. That is.
Am I hearing you correctly?
We may wish to look at and consider, look at the pros and cons.
Take the doubt out of it.
I can't take the doubt because I am doubtful of it. I can't say I am doubtful because we need to look at...
Be careful, Branville McCartan, because it sounds like you are going to create a nation of smokers.
No, my friend, you putting words in my mouth. I did not say that. I said these are conversations that we need to look at and consider. You asked me a question.
No, the texter did.
That's
a text question.
Whether or not I legalize marijuana,
yeah.
I said, listen.
Decriminalize the word they use.
From my party's point of view, I cannot comment on that because we don't have a position on that now. From a personal point of view, I said that is a conversation that we need to look at and consider, not necessarily make it. It is something we need to look at. Same thing with regards to perhaps looking at areas where and being able to contract with states and other nations, other places where it is legal, and being able to export to those things. But that's for
a different time,
a deeper conversation. More research, I think, must go into it to see what is good for the Bahamas ultimately.
Bishop Walter Hanschel sends us a text. You know him.
Yes, sir.
Well, he says he supports, this is Citizens for Justice. Bishop Hanschel says, we support the views of Bran McCartney with regards to capital punishment and the removal of the Privy Council.
He's doing a good. I just passed his place coming here, Walter Hanschel's place, and he seems to, he's an angel on this earth for what he's doing.
It's a shame, though, we don't make a higher level of donations to the work that he is doing.
Yeah.
Talking about we, the government, we, the people, we, the political parties.
I agree. That is something that ought to be developed. I mean, let the politics and parties stay out of it, but it ought to be developed in a way so that it is even more reaching towards those who are need and help, need of food and.
Yeah, you like this one. Tell Mr. McCartney to sit small and try win a seat in Parliament first before talking about becoming Prime Minister, because you can't be Prime Minister without having a seat.
You're absolutely right. Sir Lyndon Pinley never had a seat initially.
What do you mean?
He had to win a seat.
Yeah.
You had to win a seat.
Right.
I won a seat.
Yeah.
I sat in the cabinet.
And you
I
lost it.
my seat.
Yes. So you can win it back.
Well, God willing, I will win it back.
Someone else wants to know, if you don't go Bamboo Town, where will you go?
Well, I'm thinking about Bamboo Town. As a matter of fact, there's a meeting on the 28th of May, for the constituency of Bamboo Town, and I'll be speaking to the constituents there.
Someone wants you to go to Eleuthera.
Eleuthera is a good place. I was in Eleuthera last week.
I know. That's why they want you to.
Eleuthera is a very good
to
place.
go there. And Eleuthera, south or north, well, central, south or north.
Yeah.
I think would welcome you.
I think so. I have a lot of family members, and on my father's side, we're from Eleuthera, and it's a good place. But it would probably be Bamboo Town if I get the nod from the party.
Someone wants you to know that another new party is coming soon.
Coming? I thought there was a new party.
Okay.
I thought there was another new party called the Democrats or something like that. Or I read something in one of the in the newspapers, and that's good. That's good. You have a constitutional right for the freedom of association, freedom of assembly.
Someone else says, in their view, you should rejoin the FNM. But I think you're past that.
Yeah, I'm past that.
Let's go to Sharon, line 5. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Darold, and welcome back, Darold.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so nice to hear from you. Darold, I'm so happy to, let me say welcome to Mr. McCartney. How you doing?
Good afternoon, madam.
Yeah, well, your brands, you got young brands, and the Bahamas need a brands like you.
Well,
so
thank you.
I hear you say you're going Bamboo Town to run.
Oh,
You
Eleuthera.
want to come in Kennedy?
Well, part of Bamboo Town is Kennedy.
Yeah, well, I want you to come.
That's what
so
happened
I
the
can
last
vote
time.
for you.
Part of Bamboo Town is Kennedy.
Yeah, but I want you to know I can vote for you.
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. We have a meeting on the 28th.
People, and you're a pretty man.
Thank
and
you.
I always have good luck with pretty man. They treat me good. Now, when you get in power, I need a job for my daughter. She leaves school, we ain't get no certificate, but you could give her a job, one of them jobs, to be a manager.
What do you mean she ain't got no certificate?
You ain't need none to be a boss when your MP send you.
What do you mean she ain't got no certificate?
But she got a leaving certificate.
She ain't got no subjects?
No.
And she got to go to a school, try to get a couple of subjects. Or develop a technical skill.
Yeah, but see, my new MP ain't tell me that.
Well, we are telling it to you. It's what does she like?
She like to cook, but she's buying water. Well, anyway, Mr. McCartney, all the luck, and don't forget, I say, come to Kennedy.
Okay.
So everybody vote for you because she's a pretty man. And everybody knows pretty man is treat fat woman good.
I got on that one. I got to cut on that one.
Let me just say, Bamboo Town in the last election was cut up by Mr. Ingram, and part of it.
Why do you think he cut it?
Well, because he said in House Assembly it's PLP or FNM. FNM or PLP.
Meaning he wanted to...
He said if he don't have it...
To dilute your base.
He said, if I don't have it, you'll have it.
But Brian will not have it.
If I don't have it, you'll have it. He's talking about Mr. Christie. He'll have it. Look at him. Mr. Christie nod and stuff, and two sides of the same coin. And he cut himself right out of the government. Can you imagine that?
Some speculate that he gave it to Perry Christie.
I don't know. These, you really don't know. These both of those guys went around driving when they were cutting up the boundaries. It was admitted in the House of Assembly, and I guess determining how they were going to cut the boundaries. Whether or not Mr. Ingram gave it to Mr. Christie, I don't know. He looked a bit defeated on election night. And now that by-election in North Abaco, that was given to Christie.
Good day, Mr. McCartney. Stay strong and positive. We need to see more of you. FNM in shambles, PLP doing mess. The Bahamians need the DNA. This is Darold Miller Live. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to Darold Miller Live. I want to tell you about the Sky Bahamas daily flight schedule on to Fort Lauderdale, going through Bimini, Nassau, Bimini at 8 and 4, 8 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, and then it goes on to Fort Lauderdale at 9 and at 11. For more information, contact Sky Bahamas at 702-2600. That's Sky Bahamas. Safety is our culture. Service is our passion. Introducing daily flights to Bimini and then on to Fort Lauderdale. Also want to tell you about junkanooCard.com. How to play. This is an interesting raffle where you can win quite a bit of money. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. You can purchase $3, $5, $10, or $25 Junkanoo cards. They give you a chance in the drawing. It's a scratch entry, all prizes to be claimed at the head office of Junkanoo Card, located in the East Street South Shopping Plaza. For more information, call 698-0240. That's 698-0240. So you don't have to only play in the web shops. You can go junkanooCard.com. Someone wants to know your birthday number, because they want to box it. I don't know why they're telling me that. But how old will you be tomorrow?
47.
47?
Yeah.
Okay, 47. Let's go to Jeff. That's your soldier on line 5. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Daryl, how you doing?
Boy, I know you couldn't miss this call.
Man, let me tell you something. First, before I begin, to my honorable leader of the W.A. Branville McCartney, you definitely have a soldier here. I am very impressed with the work that the DNA is on and the path that we have embarked upon, and I look forward toward 2017 with great success.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Daryl, here's the amazing part of today. The DNA definitely is on the ground. Right now, as it stands for the greater part of the morning, our chairman, our deputy chairman, as well as one of our leading businessmen, Mr. Edric Bowe, is on the Guardian Talk Show radio station. So we got that part covered. We now, of course, have you with our honorable leader, who's doing an exceptional job. And at 2:30 today, we also have Edric on the Sports Radio 103.5. So the DNA actually is on the move.
But that's only talk, Jeff.
Yeah, that's only talk. But here is where we are now putting that talk into action, Darold. A lot of persons have been calling in and asking about the agenda of the DNA. How is it that we are going to make the change and the various changes and what policies we're going to place
to win government.
Yes, to win government. And thus far, I must say that every single last DNA representatives on the radio talk shows have given excellent responses to those questions, with the hope and the purview that people will then take us serious, that we are not just talk. I mean, there was a question this morning, Daryl, that people are saying that Branville McCartney, all he is talk, talk, talk. Unfortunately, they do not have an appreciation for the man as we do, because he's not just pure talk. He actually has put together some plans that in due time and due season, he will show you, and the DNA will show you the plans that we have in store. We are not the government. So therefore, persons out there cannot actually expect us to act as the government when we have a current government who right now is trying to deliver on their promises. And I'm putting emphasis on trying. But I'll end with this, Daryl. I want my leader to speak about the corruption level in this country. A lot of persons are actually talking about it. They're trying to align the DNA party with corruption should we come to government. I would like for him to speak in particular about the DNA stance on corruption within the ranks, as well as the DNA stance on any persons found within government who has committed any form of corruption, how they will be dealt with under a DNA government. Thank you very much, Steph.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I made an example last week, and I said, there is a lot of corruption going on in this country. We have situations where there's political interference in matters of an administration of justice matter, and you have situations where my general, my auntie, cousin, friend has been arrested, and there's a call that goes out, and then they are out. Under a DNA government, if something like that were to happen, minister, MP, making a call and interfering, the only person who would be out would be that person. We've accepted this too long. We've accepted the stench of corruption in this country, and it is blatant.
Where?
Blatant.
Where is this corruption?
Blatant.
Be careful now.
All right, listen, I've said this before. We have persons getting kickbacks on contracts. You know what I say?
Yeah, but
and
you ain't got no... If you have information on that, you know where to take it. You're a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I know exactly where to take it.
Because you remember when scandal way back in that was the 80s?
About...
was some kind of pipes?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But, and people are talking throughout the country because these guys are so blatant in what they're doing. Blatant. I give an example. I find it amazing, and there's an article in the Dailies today, press release that I issued last night, with this new building that's going to be built on JFK Drive, next to the old the building where the Attorney General's office is now.
You're talking about not being put to bid?
That sort of thing.
Or not... Well, I think it was put to bid.
Well, the questions we put was, they said it was a select tender process. What is a select tender process? This building is going to cost close to $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
They've engaged a person who really costs money, cost the Bahamian people money previously.
We only have 1 minute left.
Okay.
So crystallize why I should vote for you come 2017, or why we should vote DNA.
For better Bahamas to move our country forward. We see where we are. I've mentioned before that you've seen the best of the PLP, and you've seen the best of the FNM. But look where we are. You have not seen the best of the Bahamas. We're still a third world country, not moving towards first world. We're not safe. Unemployment is skyrocketing. Industry has not grown. The cost of living and cost of doing business in this country is out of whack. But that's because of the other parties. You can't blame the DNA on that. You actually give us an opportunity. You've seen the best. The first 2 terms of the PLP administration was good. The first 2 terms of the Ingram administration was good. Give us an opportunity. We have to. We must prove it to the Bahamian people that we can get it right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bangle McCartney. It's always a pleasure to have you. And tell your dad hi for me.
I will certainly do that.
Okay. Don't forget the Frank Hanna Red Bay Snapper Tournament next weekend. The telephone number to call to enter, 357-2272, or call Frank himself at 557-4108. Today's show brought to you by BTC, Tireflex, Star Motors, Dr. John C. North Spine Center of Miami, Family Guardian, 40 Days of Prayer and Fasting, Win the World, Junkanoo Beach Resort, Epic Battery, Urca, JunkanooCard.com. Scratch it and win. Also, the Frank Hanna Red Bay Snapper Tournament, Crab House and Seafood Emporium. They're having something for Mother's Day on Collins Avenue. Sky Bahamas with daily flights to Bimini and on to Lauderdale. And the Pineville Motel in beautiful North Andros. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow with another lively, provocative Darold Miller Live. Thank you very much.